Dictators, disco, Filipino pride, all coming together in Here Lies Love on Broadway. Take a peek.
When I am called by God above, don't have my name inscribed into the stone. Just say, here lies love, here lies love, here lies love.
And joining us from the cast of this new musical, this hit musical, is actress Melody Butiu. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
My goodness.
Oh
Happy
my
to be here.
gosh, I am so glad that I had a chance to watch the show, which was phenomenal.
Yes.
Being Filipina, so much pride watching the production. But you were here, well, we spoke with you a year ago talking about a movie, Easter Sunday, that had a huge Filipino cast. But now you're in a musical on Broadway with the entire cast being Filipino. What is that like?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I gotta say, when I first started working professionally, I had agents and managers saying, don't expect to be cast as Filipino. People don't know what Filipinos are. They don't know where the Philippines is. That's not what the roles are going to be for you. Maybe you should change your name. You know, things like that.
Wow.
And so, you know, to all these years later, to be able to be part of these like seminal productions and productions that we want to just open the door for so many stories and Filipino voices and other people's voices has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And to share the stage, to tell this history with a full Filipino cast I really feel the weight of the moment and the excitement of sharing that with audiences.
Yeah. I mean, and I just got back from, I told you, I did a commercial break from a wedding in California where it was a Filipino wedding. They were all said, did you see it yet? Did you see it yet? We're going to fly out and see it. But, you know, talk about the pairing, right? Because it's telling a story about a dictator, but pairing it with this whole disco theme, which you would think is an unlikely pairing, but it becomes a dance party. So kind of fill us in here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it doesn't work on paper, and yet when you see it in person. So the concept was from David Byrne, and when he had gone to discos, he had seen performers performing to tracks, and he thought, what if you could tell a story in this format where they're on stages and the people are part of it. And when he read that Imelda Marcos was a big fan of Studio 54 and a big fan of disco, he thought, oh, let me see if there's a story there. But throughout the process, he's collaborated, and so many Filipinos have lent their artistry and their perspective into telling this story and really owning this story. So it is, you know, they have transformed, David Corrins, our set designer, has transformed the Broadway theater into a dance club. It is unrecognizable as a Broadway theater. It looks like a dance club, and much of our audience is on the dance floor with stages all around, projections everywhere, and we really want the audience to feel immersed in the story, to feel like they are part of the story, whether they're part of a political rally or a wedding party or even a funeral march. So it goes through like a roller coaster of events of this very specific time in history in the Philippines.
It was amazing to witness it from up in the balcony, the mezzanine level. You could see the stages moving, the characters on the dance floor. You had like a live television camera. The dancers came up to the balcony. It was phenomenal. But a lot of people are even likening, because it is a historical musical, that it's like the Filipino Hamilton, and that it's really made people more interested in Filipino history. But what was it like, though, to be a part of all these moving parts? Like, it's just amazing to watch.
You know, oftentimes when you're doing a show on a proscenium stage, there's stage left and stage right. You know, with this type of show that is so expansive and so immersive, there are entrances in every corner, every side, running up into the mezzanine. It's such a roller coaster, not just on stage, but even backstage with our incredible crew, like doing all the quick changes and making sure everyone is at where they need to enter and exit and all of that. So it is a wild ride. And we've done it before. We did it, the original production was in 2013 at the Public Theater downtown. But even that was mostly on the dance floor and then some seats on the side. Now that we're on Broadway, it is much more expansive. And a lot of our storytelling, we've just worked hard to kind of clarify and make everyone feel included. So it's while there are this incredible experience on the dance floor, we want people in all of the seats to feel like they are part of it.
The audience dances.
And I'm on the dance floor when I go, so we'll see how that kind of
We're going to
plays
be
out.
line dancing with you. It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
fun.
I have zero rhythm. But I just want, Alex Timbers is the director, and you have David Byrne as well. And they're creative. I just want to like peel back their curtain and just see what's going on in their brain and how they visualize everything, because they're so creative and geniuses. But then you also have, we've had a friend of our show, Joe Coy, who is now one of the producers.
Yes,
right? So how's it like to work with him
absolutely.
too?
Oh, it's so wonderful to reunite with him. I always call him my kuya.
Older brother.
He takes such pride, in telling these stories. Growing up, his family didn't get to see their voices on TV or on stage. And so when we did Easter Sunday, you could tell there was such a moment of pride where he was just like, I just want them to see themselves and I want them to have a voice. So for him to then become one of the producers for Here Lies Love, it's just continuing that cycle, that he wants all of these people to have a voice and have an opportunity to share our story. And the history of the Philippines is so intricately tied with the U.S., and I think the piece hits harder now than even 10 years ago when it was written, just because the world has changed in 10 years. And it's a lot, to me, I feel like it's a lot more relevant now.
Right. Well, thank you so much for helping to bring this history to the Broadway stage.
My goodness, thank you for having me. And I want to see you on the dance
I'm
floor.
going to come back. I'm coming back.
Much better dancer.
Yes, I will see you very soon.
Yes. Great to have you here. Here Lies Love, now playing at the Broadway Theater, so go get your tickets.